If anybody wants.
Okay, good.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore.
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Present.
Councilman Iacilli.
Present.
Councilman Pell.
Present.
Councilman Scibone.
Present.
The following minutes are available for the town board's approval from the town board meeting of February 15th, 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The following communications have been received in the office of the town clerk. We have received public notices from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, a notice of issuance of final outer continental shelf air permit. Town of East Hampton, public hearing notice. Village of Quogue, notice of planning board application for 8 Midhampton Avenue, Quogue. Village of Sag Harbor, notice of adoption. Village of Southampton, Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation application for 950 Meadow Lane, Village of Southampton. New York State liquor license 30-day advance notice to local municipalities were received from the listed entity, Southampton, Peconic Beach and Tennis in Hampton Bays. Emails and letters have been received regarding the following: change of zone application entitled Liberty Gardens, County Road 39, Southampton, preservation of Marsden Street property, Sag Harbor, proposed Riverside STP, Riverside, Shinnecock Nation Service Plaza Resort, Hampton Bays, Town Trustees Letter of Support for Home Rule Request, Senate Bill, 2156 and Assembly 1531. Bid and request for proposals on February 14th. A bid for maintenance on trails in Southampton for housing and community services was opened and received on February 22nd. An RFP for professional services for design of constructed wetlands in Riverside for land management. Public hearing number 1 is to consider establishing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, I have some walk-ons
Oh, okay.
to introduce. There are 4 walk-on resolutions. Town Board Resolution ID number 45430 to authorize an amendment to the intermunicipal agreement between the Town of Southampton and the Village of West Hampton Beach regarding the Governor John Adams Dix Windmill. Town Board Resolution ID number 45724 to authorize the town attorney to retain outside counsel Sokoloff Stern LLP to represent the interests of the town as it relates to a litigation matter entitled Wexler et al. Versus the Town of Southampton et al. Town Board Resolution ID number 45725, warrant number 4, and Town Board Resolution ID number 45730 to authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement amendment with Pin High Golf Management LLC for the operation and maintenance of Poxabog Golf Center. I'd like to make a motion to add each of these walk-ons to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the public hearings?
Certainly. Public hearing number 1, to consider establishing a sewer district known as the Riverside Sewer District in the hamlet of Riverside.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and members of the Town Board. This is a continuation of the public hearing held on February 15th as it relates to the formation of the Riverside Sewer District. Since that last meeting, and as requested by Councilwoman McNamara, we have sent a mailing to the property owners within the proposed district boundaries, notifying them of this hearing. You should see a copy of that mailing in front of you. It was sent in both English and Spanish and includes QR codes that can take you directly to the town's website with some further information. Since this is a continuation hearing, I'll just give a brief overview of the project. As you know, the purpose of this project is to consider the formation of a sewer district in the hamlet of Riverside. A sewer district is necessary in order to facilitate the revitalization of Riverside and, in connection with that revitalization, implement the zoning identified in your zoning code under the Riverside Overlay District. A map, plan, and report attendant to the establishment of that district was filed in the town clerk's office on January 23rd. Pursuant to that map, plan, and report, the boundaries of the proposed Riverside Sewer District are shown on this map here in yellow. The maximum amount proposed to be expended for this sewer improvement is approximately $35 million, which includes approximately $33 million for construction costs, approximately $900,000 for hookup fees, and approximately $1 million attributable to annual operation and maintenance costs, which encompasses the upkeep of equipment, required laboratory testing, and general system monitoring. The construction costs, as well as the design, permitting, and consultation costs, shall be financed through various funding sources comprised of grant monies, which are depicted on this chart here. These funding sources or revenue sources total approximately $34 million, all in grant monies. The remaining $1 million in costs attributable to the annual operation and maintenance of the proposed sewer facilities will be paid for in part through a town subsidy from the general fund and in part by user fees collected via sewer bills at a cost of approximately $225 annually per year. So the estimated cost to a typical property within those proposed district boundaries is approximately $225. And that is because the property owner is not expected to pay for any capital costs associated with the construction of the sewer facility, giving these funding sources identified. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. We also have Len Marchese with us to discuss any financial aspects you have. Janice Shear, of course, is here to speak to the project, and I believe Tom Lembo is available on Zoom for any engineering questions.
Well, thank you, Kathleen.
We did have a lengthy discussion in our first hearing, and a lot of the
Yes.
questions that I had were answered at that time.
Oh, thank you for the mailing. 'cause
Yeah.
that was-
Of course.
Yeah, thank you for getting that out so quickly.
Yeah, actually,
That's a good idea,
CRC did a
Cindy.
great job at getting that together. And you can see the QR codes, which are super helpful.
Yeah, like those. I had a few questions that I had submitted for review to, you and Janice and Len, and just, I just did it, so I don't expect any responses, but if some of those require tweaks to the map and plan, that's fine, right? That can happen
Yes, yeah,
before the
that'll
next
happen,
meeting?
and we can make sure to note those changes in memo format so that any changes to the map and plan can be tracked by anybody who's interested.
Okay, we don't want to hold up anything
No,
with the
yeah,
grant
that's-
funding.
Yes. I know you have to hear from the public, but I would request that you keep this hearing open for one more hearing on March 12th, if you're so inclined.
Thank you. We do have some people that would like to speak. The first person is Jeff Seaman.
Good evening, Supervisor, members of the board. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak. My name is Jeff Seaman, and I'm here again tonight representing the Town Board of Riverhead. The Town Board is unified in its response to the Riverside Sewer District as it's been proposed, and they are advocating again for the inclusion of the county facilities as previously described and commented upon during the comment period of supplemental EIS on this project. They have asked that you reconsider the district, especially for the phase one of this project, and include the county center in phase one. Thank you.
Thank you. Rika Hines.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening, members of the boards. Thank you for being here, and also for the supervisor. My husband and I, Leroy Hines and Zuleika Hines, we're property owners in the redistrict area, and we're very excited to see the sewer system come into play. As you know, with the different various tap levels of the water, many of those septic systems are unsustainable. And so we're talking about affecting the Peconic Bay, which is a beautiful place to fish. And my husband and I love kayaking there as well. It's a wonderful place to be able to have recreation. But we cannot go ahead and overlook the fact that groundwater contamination is real and that is seeping through our systems as the water is rising. With that, pathogens like E. coli have increased in the past 5 years, and it's something that we're hearing reoccurring more frequently. We can also not take into account that coastal waters and the environment is changing. And so to have a system that can be monitored and tracked and does not burden the homeowners already of an area that my husband was raised in that area. We now live in Riverhead as well, but we have a lot of relationships there also with the church there. The Galilee Church is not too far from there, and they have a wonderful food pantry. And we cannot overlook the fact that contamination in the water and the children is very real. And so we really got to work on this with a sense of urgency. Not just simply because we want to see a redevelopment happen, but we got to work with a sense of urgency because the environment is highly being impacted. And it's going to affect all of us, not just Flanders, not just Riverside, not just Riverhead. We all are going to be impacted. And so this must be seen with a sense of urgency, and we must act on this promptly. And I appreciate the supervisor and the board for taking this on, also for the committee for providing grants to support this endeavor, and we appreciate to be notified. We did get the mailing to be able to be here today, and we made arrangements in our workload today to be able to be here and present this. So thank you very much for taking this on.
Well, thank you for your support.
Thank you.
For coming.
Good points.
That's all the cards we have. Kevin, is there anybody on Zoom that would like to speak?
Yeah, I have one hand up.
Okay.
Supervisor, it looks like there may have been some other folks who want to speak.
Oh, you did.
Okay.
Linda? Somehow it was in the, oh, there's a couple in the back here. I'm sorry, I overlooked those. Kevin, just a minute, please. Camilla Roth?
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I've never spoken in front of anybody before like this. Only time I had to do it is I was the first fire lady in Riverhead Fire Department, and I served 29 years there. So,
Thank you for doing that.
Thanks for your
thank you.
service.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, and now I'm exempt, so just lay low. I live in Parkview Community. I'm on the board, and I've lived in Flanders for over 53 years, and I love it, and I agree with the young lady. We have such a beautiful area, and we need to take care of it very much. And the sooner we get this done, the better we are. But I'd like to speak with the development. I hope that Riverhead is consignment with us in developing. We have an old warehouse. We had a fire in there in 2011, and we've been paying high taxes on this building for 13 years. And we're this close to knocking it down. We got prices. It's a big chunk of money, and but we like to build senior housing or studio apartments to keep the young people and us retirees here. You know, where do they have to go? The rents are ridiculous, and I like to promote something like that. And we've been working on it, like I said, for 13 years. And the building had a good history behind it. And if anybody lived in the area, it was a Woodlands, Parkview Woodland Dairies. And you used to go out there with a quarter and get a quart of milk out of the machine right off the road. So it had history, but we can't go through the history because it'd be way too much money to restore it. So I think housing for very young people, kids getting out of high school, college, we have a beautiful college down the road. Our seniors, you know, they sometimes can't afford the house they live in, the taxes. My son's looking for a house, and it's ridiculous. It's a house. But I'd be very supportive to the sewage system and some development in our community, where well, I remember like thinking over 20 years ago, I went to meetings, and when they were putting 104 and 105 in, it was supposed to divert over by Pontiac. It was a car dealership, which is now Green Sanitation, Go Green, and it was supposed to go from there into the zone. What is that zone called? Across the street from my house. Thank you. Enterprise zone. It was supposed to come in there, and people were supposed to come around the circle this way and divert the circle. I don't know whatever happened to that plan.
30
That-
seconds.
That was a good plan. I'm sorry. But anyway, you know, we've had promises and a lot of things haven't. We're getting our park, which is a very good step. But thank you anyway for letting me speak. I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
I have a question
Good job.
for you. I'm sorry, Councilman.
Yes, go ahead.
You're on the board of Parkview. I spoke to your manager, and she indicated that the community had support for this. Is this something that you all brought up at your meetings, and does the community support?
Yes,
The district.
the community supports it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're-
Linda Testagrassi? Okay. All right. Kevin, would you please get that person online now for us?
Looks like I'm in, but I'm not sure.
You're in.
Vince.
Okay, my name is Vince Taladone. Good evening, Supervisor, members of the board, and Christine Scalera, my dear old friend, who knows well how long the Community Association, Franca, has been working toward this day. I've been involved with Franca for 20 years. So it started in 2004, or I started with them in 2004 mainly to build a welcome sign. 10 years later, we stood behind then Supervisor Anna Fromholz, Councilwoman Scalera and others at the time, applauding and thanking them for moving forward with what was a community-based, community-sourced redevelopment plan, the entire plan of which rests on the creation of this sewer district. So here we are 10 years later. Things do take time in government, and I understand that, but I just want this board, because I see a number of faces that are newer, to know that the Flanders, Riverside, and Northampton Community Association, me as president for over 10 years, vice president, treasurer, along with other board presidents before Angela, who's the current president, have all supported exactly what's in front of you. I do have to point out a little humor at the town of Riverhead, proposing that we take the county complex in. That was actually proposed to the town of Southampton. Then Supervisor Sean Walters said he didn't think it was possible and absolutely would fight us because they needed the capacity for downtown development. If that can be added to this sewer district, I think that's a wonderful thing. But let's get what we have in front of us started. Let's approve this district. Let's get the construction going so we can finally create the walkable community about this this association and all of its members. Most of its members, I have to say, have always supported primarily, and again, to repeat that, because that plan did not come from high above, it came from the community, working with professionals, with the town staff, then Director of Land Management, Kyle Collins. So we have tons and tons of history working really hard with town staff, town board to get this approved. And so I'm just thrilled to see it now in front of you, and I hope you can support it as well.
Good to see you, Vince.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more on Zoom. Never mind, they changed their mind.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, wait, never mind, they're joining.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Good evening to the supervisor and to the board members of the town of Southampton. My name is Sandy Adams. I'm currently on the Franca board. I'm a resident of Riverwoods, which is the mobile home park on Riverly, which has 376 sewers and cesspools. And it would be a joy for all of us to have a sewer system to further develop Riverside from being the poorest financial district hamlet on the island. And sewers would bring businesses to our hamlet, along with housing opportunities, which will all build a financially viable community for everyone. And there'd be more taxes going to Southampton Town, which in hand would go to our ambulance service. So there would be offshoot developments. So we hope that you can push this forward. We've been waiting a long time. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, that's the goal, you know, to treat the existing septic and to revitalize the area and allow for some housing opportunities. And everybody here is very dedicated to making that happen and working diligently towards it, and especially Janice Shear, you know, the little core team here, Tom Houghton, Kathleen Murray, Len Marchese, very focused on deadlines and funding, and so I'm very confident that we're going to make some good progress very soon. So if no one else, oh, we've got one more person who'd like to come up and speak.
Just have a quick question.
Well, you have to come to the podium, please. Those are the rules.
I think the previous speaker brings up a good point as far as the tax base goes, that it would increase the tax base for the various districts, including the school district, the Riverhead School District. So thank you. And the Riverhead Fire District, too.
Good evening, I'm David Sargoy, Hampton Bays resident for 42 years and also a realtor with Brown Harris Stevens, Commercial Division. What does the timing look like? Assuming this got approved tomorrow morning, for argument's sake, how long would it take to build the sewer district?
Well, it'll take probably 6 months to a year to get the construction documents and the design all settled and out to bid. And then once we select a contractor, probably 2 years. And I know it sounds like a long time total, but, you know, things do take time. You gotta start now.
I'm the director of the Commercial Real Estate Division, the whole tri-state area, so we're used to having a lot of deals take a while. So about a 3-year process until it would be up and running.
That's just my opinion. I mean,
Safe to
you
say.
know, it's,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Great.
So if no one else would like to speak, then I'd like to, I move to close the public, not close the public hearing. You'd
Well,
like to keep it open, Kathleen, until the next board meeting?
Yes, please. The board's so inclined, perhaps one more hearing on March 12th, and then I'll likely be asking you on March 12th to close that hearing.
Will we have a resolution in our packet on March 12th to pass this?
You won't, because you need your secret resolution first.
Okay.
So likely March 26th, adopting we could do the 12th?
No, it may be April. We have to get the FEIS finalized,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
then,
yeah. The goal is March 26th. It might be April.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
Thank you for your due diligence.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
for working so hard.
So moved to close hold open the public hearing.
You have someone in the back raising their hand.
Good evening. I work with David Sargoy as well. What I was wondering is, would this add any additional?
Sir, could we have your name?
Oh, I'm Neil Ergezer. Would this open up any additional density for any new developments now that there would be sewers in the area?
The plan is the total plan is a 800,000 gallon a day plant, but that's broken into two phases, and the first phase would be 400,000 gallons. And the existing flow is about 200,000 gallons right now, so that leaves another 200,000 gallons of flow that would be available for new construction, businesses and housing opportunities.
Sure. When would the second phase start?
Well, the first phase would include that, 200,000 gallons would be available for that, and then we don't have a date. We want to get the first phase done first.
So does that math work out to 2 times the development or 2 times the density?
The development plan is online, you can see it.
If
Sure.
you wanna, there's a QR code on the meeting
It's on the
agenda,
website.
that's a link to it.
All right. That was my question. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Could you stop could you just stop in the spelling of your last name, please?
All right, well, I move to hold over the public hearing until the next meeting. What is happening?
I received a text, I received a text that somebody has had their hand up on Zoom, and they're not being seen. She can see you, and she has her hand up, but she,
Kevin, is there somebody with their hand up that would like to speak?
No hands up.
Are they on Zoom or are they on?
There's another hearing date, Angela, so.
they see you.
They might be viewing it. There's 2 buttons, and
Yeah.
there's a really big button on the portal that says, click here to participate. So
I'll
I'm,
bring her next.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Angela.
Thank you, Angela.
All right, I'm
We have
going
to
to
try
try
and
that
avoid that
motion again to
confusion.
carry over the public hearing to
moved.
the next board meeting.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
public hearing number 2, to accept the donation of an undivided joint ownership interest of the Governor John Adams Dix Windmill from the Village of West Hampton Beach and amend the CPF Stewardship and Management Plan to include the structure for purposes of historic restoration and preservation.
So I believe Jacqueline Fenlon is here from our CPF director, and Dan McCormick and Mayor Urban from West Hampton Beach Village.
Mayor.
Yes, welcome, Mayor. Would you like to introduce this for us?
Yes. Good evening, Madam Supervisor and Town Council members. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. So for the first public hearing regarding CPF matters today, we do have the notice of public hearing for accepting the donation of an undivided joint interest and ownership of the Governor John Adams Dix Windmill. This will allow us to facilitate funding for the restoration project. For people who are not familiar, I know
Noisy.
sorry, lots of background noise.
I know. Okay, go ahead.
But for people who are not familiar with the windmill, it's right here, located in its original placement, right here. So that is a historic photo of it prior to it being moved. And then the intent is to relocate the structure and restore it on the village, Hamlet Green, which is the Great Lawn in West Hampton Beach Village. So it'll be directly on the corner, and this is shown on the plan and renderings right here. So they'll be right here. And just to remind the board and any community members, this windmill was landmarked by the town, and we have been collaborating with West Hampton Beach Village on this. So the intent overall has always been to restore this building and to place it on the Great Lawn. It is currently now preserved and shrink-wrapped, located on the parcel that it will be restored on. But this was landmarked by the town board on April 12th, 2022. The village supported the IMA and authorization of the IMA that we currently have, which was by village resolution on May 5th, 2022. And then the town board on March 14th, 2023, authorized the execution of that IMA. So that IMA already speaks to the intent to us to work collaboratively together, and the end result being restoration. So we also have secured capital funding for this via CPF. So it's important that essentially we are have a joint undivided interest in the structure so that we can utilize CPF monies to restore the structure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's great collaboration between the town and the village.
And in the future, who is going to be the steward?
It will continue, the IMA stipulates that the steward will be West Hampton Beach.
West Hampton Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will continue to be stipulated. We will revise the IMA accordingly, based upon the joint ownership.
Excellent.
That's great.
Nice addition.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good project.
Mayor Urban, would you like to say a couple of words, or you?
Sure.
Okay. It's been a long journey. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, Ralph Urban, new mayor of West Hampton Beach, because our old mayor's now the supervisor.
Where did she go?
I should explain that this original picture might be a little misleading, because now, in order to move it from its previous location, we had to cut it into 4 pieces.
Wow.
And then move it to the Great Lawn location, and then potentially reassemble it on the Great Lawn. So right now, it's in 4 separate pieces, shrink wrapped to protect it. And we have a bidder, or we got bids to put it back together and refurbish it. But we had to hold off until this was established. West Hampton Beach did pass a resolution for the joint ownership on February 1st. And I would like to thank the supervisor and her colleagues for coming up with a solution that seemed to be blocking our progress for a bit because of the funding. The comptroller understandably had issues, so we worked that out. And we very much appreciate the cooperation and the help of the town, generally speaking.
And you had a good team of architects working
Yes, we
on
did.
the
We had
design for the
volunteer-
reconstruction.
All volunteer architects working to design and reconstruct the windmill. So it's been
And this
a
was
tremendous
actually,
effort.
this was actually a save, right? It was scheduled to be demolished because there was a
Yes.
house that had been built around it over the years, and that house had to be taken away and the original structure saved. So we've
Right.
done that, and now it's waiting
and
to
the
be
owners,
rebuilt.
the present owners that developed the new house were very kind. They had a
Mhm.
slight delay in their construction in order for it to be moved, and it's been a terrific partnership with everybody involved.
That's good. We
So,
appreciate their participation, because I'm sure something
Absolutely.
like this might have held them up a little bit.
Mhm.
Yes,
But
yes,
they
it
did the
did.
right thing there. Okay.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
is one of the only water pumping windmills on the East End,
Yes.
isn't that right?
Mhm.
And it's going to
Yes.
function now as well.
Yes, we plan to have a well and eventually get it to function. But
Yeah.
we have a well pump that's been refurbished already, but it's a matter of getting it to work and engineer it so it will work, but we're working on it.
It's a good
The old-
educational opportunity
Yes,
for people to see.
for everybody.
The old pitcher pumps that
Yes, and it's,
got the gear
Yeah.
up on top. And,
yeah.
oh my
And,
goodness. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
Mhm.
It's deceiving. So we're looking forward to it.
I
Well,
happen
thank
to
you
be
for
on
all
this-
your work on
Sure.
that.
It happened to be on the steps at the post office as it was traveling down Main Street from its original
Yes,
home
there's
to its
the-
new home.
That was
So
quite a sight.
It
It was
was.
a parade of
timing was
flatbeds
everything.
with
Yeah,
sections of the
Well
windmill.
documented by Matt Jedlinka, and took a lot of photos, and it's a fun project, very positive.
Mm-hmm.
Any other
Well,
questions?
thank you. No, and we don't have any cards from anybody in the audience. Kevin, is there anybody on Zoom that would like to speak to us about this?
We have one hand up.
Okay.
The suspense.
I did, well, I was just gonna add the original location, so people are aware, was 89 Seafield Lane in West Hampton Beach. I just wanted to add that for the record, which is where this picture was taken. And then just some interesting facts about Governor John Adams Dix is that he was, it was originally constructed by him in about 1870 with the other buildings on the property. And prior to purchasing the land and building in West Hampton Beach, Governor Dix and his family boarded in Quogue and at Captain Henry Gardner's house in the summers. So they had a connection to Quogue as well. John Dix also had an illustrious military and political career that included serving in the War of 1812. He also served as United States Senator from 1845 to 1849, President of the Mississippi and Missouri Railroad in 1853, Union Pacific Railroad from 1863 to 1868, Postmaster of New York City from 1860 to 1861, Secretary of Treasury in 1861, and the U.S. Minister to France from 1866 to 1869. Yep, so he was the 24th New York State governor, which served from 1873 to 1874. And he would have been in his 70s when this was built. And his son ended up inheriting the property from him through his estate. So I just wanted to add that. And, another fun fact, this is all from Julie Green, our town historian. So she gave me some of the fun facts because I was not involved in the landmarking process, but also that West Hampton Beach was actually known as the Windmill Village. And it was because of these water pumping windmills. So this was not for green. This was actually all for properties to have well and potable water for their homes and estates. So I just wanted to add that while
Thank
there
you
was
for those facts.
a break in the.
And I want to just acknowledge Larry Jones, who is our preservation expert, who
Yes.
brought this windmill idea to the village board. And without him telling us about it, we never would have known. And the Historical Society was so much in favor, and they helped with a GoFundMe account to pay for the relocation. And a lot of people have been very supportive.
Yeah, and I want to say a special thank you to also like Dave Wilcox and our director of planning, and also to the Landmarks and Historic District Board, because obviously everyone really coordinated and moved fast to make sure the structure was saved. So now the end result is to give it to a home and to fully restore it.
We got a much more detailed.
Did you?
Mhm.
Yes.
Good.
Oh, it was great. And Ed Wisnowski did that presentation.
Yeah,
He's
Ed
the chair of the
is
board.
nothing.
Nice.
And they did a great
Yes.
job.
Yeah.
You did mention Fort Dix, right?
Oh, I didn't.
Well, Fort Dix was named after
Yes.
this gentleman. What a
Yes.
career.
I know. Very.
The Landmark Board was very
Statesman.
helpful to.
Yeah, so I just want to say
also.
a big thank you to them, because as I'm reviewing the file, I'm seeing so much hard work to especially work at such a fast pace.
They did work quickly, and we, they reviewed the plans, they made comments, which we turned, the village turned around and.
Incorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's been so collaborative. It's been a great project. Well, so Kevin, is somebody on Zoom that
They
wants?
put their hand down.
Okay.
Okay.
Change their mind.
Well, with that then, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Public hearing number 3, to consider the acquisition of 38 Second Neck Lane located in the Village of Quogue and amend CPF project plan and CPF management stewardship plan to include the property.
Good evening again, Jacqueline Fenlon, Community Preservation Manager. We are here tonight to consider the acquisition of 38 Second Neck Lane, which is in the Village of Quogue. And I did want to let the board know that we have been discussing this property with the Village Board of Trustees, and it is fully supported the acquisition from Quogue Village. So it's currently owned by Penniman's Point Limited Partnership, and it is approximately 6.4 acres of land. Suffolk County Tax Map Number 9026-2-2.84. And Penniman's Point Limited Partnership are the purported owners, and they are interested in selling the property for $3.8 million. And this would be included this would be has been determined to be included as a Village Hamlet Green since it's located in the Village of Quogue. But here we are looking to add this into stewardship and most likely just have passive open space and wetlands preservation here, not to have an active community park. And this is the property that I will show you right now, which is just on the west side of Penniman Point. Oh, sorry, east side. And this will be to include it in the stewardship plan so that we can utilize our stewardship and maintenance if needed on this property. So, yeah. I just wanted to thank the family. It was a pleasure dealing with them. This, took a long time to negotiate. So we're also very excited. The next one on to be holding a hearing also tonight is another part of the same family. So that is 40 Second Neck. So it's exciting to be able to preserve both of these together.
I just wonder, when you go to Penniman Point, is this on Penniman Point? Yes, correct.
This is Penniman Point, yes, and then Second Neck Lane is the street.
When you access the drive to Penniman Point, on Montauk Highway, there's a plaque, and I believe it says private property. Will that be changed once we purchase this property?
I can ask. I mean, that's obviously been there for quite some time.
Yeah, but it makes it so that you wouldn't.
Yeah, I understand. It deters people from being able to enjoy a public passive area. Yeah, I mean, we can talk. Obviously, that was probably there for quite some time.
It's been there as long as I can ever remember.
I do believe it was one family before the Penniman Point family purchased it. So, it was kind of
it was a family holding.
I think they had, yeah, but I understand what you mean because it does deter people.
I would say unless you're going
to. Asterisk. That's something that we can consult with the family with. I don't know if they have direct control over that signage and that piece of property, but we can look into it further.
Did you say we were going to have walking paths on there?
This would passive, so passive recreation. So somebody could walk here. There's an existing driveway here. But, the intent here is not really to have an active park. It's kind of a sleepy area. 38 especially is really more necessary for habitat preservation, coastal resilience, wetland preservation. That one has not been touched. 40 does have some infrastructure and has a retaining wall that circles the area. So we would probably leave that alone. If anything, it might have, like a pathway. We'll probably allow it to passively revegetate, but give the public access, possibly a bench or two, so you can enjoy the view because it's spectacular looking over the bay right there towards Dune Road.
Okay. Kevin, is there anybody online that wishes to speak in this public hearing?
Jackie, question about the designation as Village Hamlet Green. Was that the request of the Village of Quogue?
No, it's appropriate with the
village?
Classification when it's in a village.
Okay.
Yeah. But it also includes Village Hamlet Greens, parks, recreation, and open space. So it kind of encompasses, a lot of different intents within the CPF. But it also acknowledges that it's important for when it's within a village.
And the adjoining property that is going to make this assemblage is going to have the same Well, I guess we're going to hear that in a moment.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
What did you say? It included
So Village Hamlet Green is intended for parks or open space that we acquire within a village. So by it being in Quogue Village, it's appropriate to designate it as that. It does allow for parks, recreation, open space target area, but in this case, because of the sensitivity of wetlands, we're not planning to do any park, active park or recreation in this location. So maybe a passive trail as well as a bench.
And the access was just my thing, because with the two, it is a big area of waterfront that, could be used for kayaking and other things, so I just wanted to know if they could go down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so I'll have to inquire further about who owns the property, where the sign's located on Montauk Highway, because I know what you mean by that. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a recommendation here as far as leaving it open or closing the hearing?
I would recommend that it be closed.
Okay.
All right. If you
All
don't
right.
have any other comments or
So I'd like to
questions?
make a motion to close the hearing if we are ready to.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing number 4, to consider the acquisition of 42nd Neck Lane located in the Village of Quogue and amend the CPF project plan and CPF management stewardship plan to include the property.
Good evening again. Thank you for being here tonight. So this is the estate. So again, this is within the same family, a separate trust, but this is the Robin W. Jeffrey as trustee of the Jeffrey 2018 Family Trust. So this is a 5.3 acre property located at 42nd Neck Lane, Suffolk County Tax Note Number 902-6-2-2.85. So they have expressed interest in selling this property for $3.85 million. And again, this is recommended to be added into the Village Hamlet Green Parks and Recreation and Open Space target area for CPF project plan and be included in the management and stewardship plan as appropriate. So again, this is directly adjacent, so I'll point to it now. So this one does have a lawn area, and there is a retaining wall there. The retaining wall is in good condition. So at this point, we would just leave that alone, allow the area to be passively revegetated, and we have just asked for any infrastructure that was placed in the property, irrigation, utilities, to be removed prior to closing on the property.
The homeowner has to do that?
Yeah, that's part of the contract requirements.
It's a nice assemblage totaling 11.7 acres.
Correct.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Kevin, is there anybody on Zoom for this public hearing?
No one on Zoom.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing number 5, on the acquisition of 710 North McGee Street in the hamlet of North Sea and amend the CPF management stewardship plan to include the property.
Good evening again, Jacqueline Fenlon from CPF Manager. This is a property that's located in North Sea. So this is a 1.3 acre property located at 710 North McGee Street, Suffolk County Tax Note Number 900-111-2-4.1. So this is owned by Carl L. Somm, and they have expressed interest in selling the property for $815,000. So this would actually, this is kind of near and dear to my heart because I grew up in North Sea. So this would actually complete preservation of all 5 corners of 5 corners. And I was told that there's another 5 corners also located in East Hampton, but this is my 5 corners. But, CPF has worked to preserve the northern 2 corners as well, and then also through subdivision open space dedication, we've secured the corner on the west. So this is actually the last missing link in that preservation to retain that community character and kind of that wooded character in this 5-way intersection. So, yeah.
Good. It's a nice little spot.
Yeah.
I go by it every day.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, and it will reduce one house, but it will keep that rural wooded character for generations to come. So, yeah. I just want to say thank you to the Somm family because we've been working with them on several properties in the area. So I know that they have preservation at heart on this one. Yeah.
Well, thank you for all the negotiating you've been doing.
You're welcome.
Kevin, is there anybody on Zoom that would like to speak?
No one on Zoom.
I'd like to make a motion to close.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, could you call 6 and 7 together?
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public hearing number 6, proposed amendment of Chapter 123-14 entitled Stop Work Orders of the Code of the Town of Southampton to enhance enforcement capability. Public hearing number 7, proposed amendment of Chapter 229-8.
Good evening, Supervisor Moore, members of the town board. Sean Cambridge, Assistant Town Attorney. These two are related. This is a procedure for a stop work order and a stop order. The difference between the two is a stop work order is historically what a building inspector would go and serve on a construction site. A stop order is what our natural resource director can go and serve when someone is, say, clearing wetlands, something to that effect. We took a look at this because there's a disconnect currently. So currently, only a building inspector can issue a stop work order. What that leads to is you'll have a code enforcement official or fire marshal arrive on a scene where someone is doing something pretty wild, say cutting floor joists or doing something unsafe. A fire marshal can render a building unsafe, but nobody other than a building inspector, the way our code is written right now, can direct work to stop. That is essential for enforcement. A violation of a stop work order is an unclassified misdemeanor. It's one of the tools that we can utilize for enforcement. So we want as many members of our enforcement staff as possible to be able to issue a stop work order. Contrarily, we only want a building inspector to be able to lift a stop work order, because the idea and goal of this is to drive that person into the building department to get a building permit. So that's the whole intended goal of this. It's kind of a many hands make for light work type rationale here. It makes sense to authorize fire marshals and town code enforcement officials to carry out this function as well. It also eliminates a notice issue. So now we have a town enforcement official who's on scene, who's seeing something happening, who can't do anything. That's a big problem for us. So this would close the loop. While we were in here making these changes, we made some language changes as well. For instance, there was a line in here that discussed the conformity of provisions of an application. Well, an application doesn't let you do anything. A permit lets you work. Plans let you work. A site plan lets you work. So we've eliminated some of the ambiguous language here and made this straightforward. We don't want anyone coming into court saying, I didn't understand what I could do. This is clear as day now. Any contractor working, anybody working on a job site knows when this is served, you stop. No ifs, ands, or buts. The second section with the stop order is simply to allow these same individuals to post this order. Currently, only our natural resources director can post the stop order. That's problematic. We can't have Janice Shear running to each and every site. She's got lots of other responsibilities. So this would help on that ground as well. And there's a whole procedure for those orders as well laid out in our town code. I don't propose changing any of that. So that's about all this is. Any questions?
Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and thank you for working on it with Councilwoman McNamara.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Kevin, is anybody on Zoom with a hand up?
No one else on Zoom.
Gentleman here that would like to speak?
Has everybody else spoken?
On the stop work orders?
No, forgive me, I was late.
Oh.
I would like to make a statement about the sewer district.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're just
know
going to
you
finish
closed
up this public hearing on the stop work orders, and then you can come up in the public portion. It's coming right up, right after this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I would move to close public hearing number 5.
Second.
And,
And then we'll do the
Okay.
next one separately.
all in favor?
Aye.
Who was
And
the
the
second?
motion-
Bill.
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 The motion to close public hearing number 6.
Second again.
No, number 7.
Number
You just
7,
did
sorry.
6. Okay.
7.
6 and 7.
This is 7, okay. And you're the
Second.
second? Thank you.
Very
If I can
important.
understand, if the
All in
board's inclined
favor?
to adopt, there are resolutions
Aye.
on tonight.
Pardon me?
If the board is inclined to adopt these, there are resolutions on tonight.
For tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, we put them on because we didn't really see any need to delay
Mm-hmm.
putting this in place. And
Mhm.
also, it has the support of both departments
Yeah.
involved, so.
It's not controversial.
No.
I mean,
No.
it makes sense, and
And
we
it's
should
very,
do
very
it.
important, too.
Yeah. Did we say all in favor on
Aye.
the last
So.
one? Okay. All right, very good. All right, that brings us to the public portion. I have 2 cards. Angela Huno.
Good evening Supervisor and Town Council. It's Unault.
Unault.
Angela Unault, President of Franca, Flanders Riverside Northampton Community Association. And before I get started, I am not a rule breaker. I'm a rule follower, so with that, I'd like to give my sincere apologies. It's just that she was so concerned that she wanted to be heard. So,
Oh, no.
yeah,
you're fine.
I don't break rules. I try not to.
Of course.
So I am going to take the opportunity to just ask a few questions or just make a comment on Resolution 2024-291. First, thank you so much for all the effort that is being put in, continues to be put in for Wildwood Lake. We sincerely thank you. And we are excited to see something, permanently be done about the parking. But when I was before the town last year when we were doing a pilot, I stood up and I asked why weekends and holidays only, because there was more, even though it wasn't the hundreds of people like it was on holidays and weekends, there were still others that do not live in the town of Southampton using the facility Monday through Thursday. And so what was told to me is this is called a pilot, and so let's see what happens. I could be reading the language incorrectly, but it says to amend code chapter 312-62 to permanently implement a parking by permit only program at Wildwood Lake Park for weekends and federal holidays, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, and Labor Day, from May 15th to September 15th. Since we're still working on this, can we have it that it's just like all the other beaches, where it's not just limited to weekends and holidays? Because it's not gonna, I really feel it will help for the weekends and the holidays, but it's not gonna stop the others that come the Monday through Thursday. And yes, they weren't as many, but they were still coming. And, I get my permit. In fact, a little side note, and I hope it doesn't go over my 3 minutes. I never knew that. I've lived here for 46 years. And I always went to West Landing, the ocean, or Long Neck Boulevard to go to the water. I always thought Wildwood Lake was for the people who lived in Wildwood. I didn't even know I was allowed to go there until 2018. And I took a tour, and it's beautiful. So since we're still in, like, nothing's been signed and no signs have been made, could we extend it to not just be the weekends and holidays?
This was a pilot plan that we're making permanent for the weekend, and we certainly can look at, the week activity as well, making this more week-long rather than just the weekend. But I'd like to go through and pass this, and then we can work on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And I hear 3 things at the same time. So yes, I know that this was to discuss March 12th, but I just figured since it's public portion.
I didn't hear the other part.
That I would just express what everyone had read. And like I said, if I was reading it wrong, but this was brought to my attention. So as the president, this is what was asked.
Well, you might want to submit an email just for the public hearing record when we open that on March 12th.
Excellent.
So you don't have to take a trip back.
We probably will, but
You could,
yes. Okay, and again, my apologies for earlier.
Okay.
Thank you. David Rung.
David Rung, Village of Southampton. I want to express my appreciation to Councilperson Isasili for calling me back last week and telling me about his follow-up on my concerns about the town's assessed values. These are the values which are used to allocate the school and the town tax burdens to the residents of the town. Understand that I have been expressing these concerns to the village of Southampton for over 2 years. I attend every trustee meeting. I speak at every meeting that allow public comment, and I have had over 20 letters to the editor printed in the Southampton Press, many of them on this subject. And not once in over 2 years have I had a representative of village government contact me to discuss my concerns. So again, Mike, thank you. I believe we had a productive dialogue. But now it's time for action. And what are the needed actions? One, the town needs to explain to the residents how the town computes assessed values. Okay? This is a simple ask, right? You could easily do it on the website, or better yet, I think you could just attach a half sheet of paper explaining this and put it in with the invoices that you send out with the real estate bills. You all believe in transparency. Tell the residents how assessed values are determined. 2, the town includes on the real estate bill something that says full value. That is a lie and it's a deception, because that number is a backed into number based on an already predetermined assessed value. Okay? Now, it just so happens that the village has that same issue, and I just last Tuesday had my 3rd grievance hearing in the last 3 years. And when I again bring this up to the village board, they say the state requires that such verbiage be used. Well, let me offer to that, anyhow, this is an explanation, by the way, that I refer to as the Flip Wilson explanation. I don't know if all of you are probably much too young to know who Flip Wilson is, but his standard comment was, "The devil made me do it." Okay, so if you believe the town is requiring you to put this inappropriate, inaccurate comment in there, you need to have more moral background and saying we just won't do it.
30
Okay?
seconds.
Pardon me?
30 seconds, sir.
Okay. The last comment I'd have is, to correct this whole situation, the town should use Zillow adjusted to determine assessed values. The Zillow amounts are readily available. No time would be consumed in using it, or an expensive appraisal would be necessary. Is Zillow perfect? Of course not. But that's why it should be contemporaneously adjusted by the
3
Assessors
minutes.
Department. I previously indicated 700 Meadow Lane, which is just sold for $112 million. It has an assessed value of $34 million. Okay, now I bet I could show you $1 billion you could add to the tax base, but with no more than 30 or 40 properties. Okay, you need to move to something that really, reflects current value. Zillow would get you there. Okay?
David,
Yes.
if I just might add,
Please add.
the town tax assessor was very responsive after we had our conversation,
Yes.
and I can tell you that I had a conversation with Supervisor Moore, and she also had a conversation with our tax assessor, and we do plan for some follow-up with the assessor to whom will come to the town board to demonstrate the processes that are occurring in the assessor's office, and we'll make some determinations from there. So we are taking action. We're looking at it. We're going to do everything we can.
Okay.
She's
There
gonna
are
come
many
in.
other things I could offer you. I could tell you how to have a workforce to help the Assessors Department at no additional cost to the town, okay? And I would just offer that in all the issues I bring before government, I never bring an issue that I don't provide a solution for, okay? So I'd be happy to be part of any of those conversations.
Thank you.
But it is something, like I hear this commentary about Riverside and taxes being an issue about affordability. Well, when you have these lower valued properties being forced to pay more because you are not taxing the high valued properties, you know, that cost all gets pushed onto others. Now, whether that's really causes an affordability issue, you know, I'm not so sure, but anyhow, it's there, okay? So thank you for listening, but we need to really get something done on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As Councilman Iacilli mentioned, we both spoke with Lisa Gorey, the tax assessor, and she is going to prepare a presentation, come in and speak with the board at a work session. She's going to have some charts, graphs, and a nice explanation of how the current assessments work, and also what the implications the freeze has had, and what we would need to do if we're going to lift the freeze, and what that'll mean. So we're looking forward to that. She just needs a little time to put it all together. Oh, and the gentleman in the back, would you like to come up and have your comments now? Thank you. Thanks for reminding me.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and council members. My name is Robert Sumlin. I have a piece of property in Flanders. I have 3 questions. One is, why does it need a sewer district? The other is, are we going to be taxed for that sewer district, for the maintenance of that? And I forgot my 3rd question. But I'm sort of like on the fence about this, because my 3rd question is that sewer district going to be getting sewage from all the other sewer companies and dumping sewage there in Flanders?
It's really just treating that area in Riverside.
So it's
right
only
now.
specifically for that area?
And
Is
it's
that going to be a contract? Is that going to be something that is permanent? Or is it going to be something that they can open it up later so that they can take sewage from all the other companies in Southampton so that they don't have to go to Riverhead and dump?
He's talking about the sewer trucks.
The sludge.
Sludge. No, it's not set up for that.
And-
I have not seen it.
Right,
in
we're
the
gonna have to
plans.
take sludge out of this district and send it out periodically.
Yeah.
That's how it's currently being looked at, but we don't have the final engineering down yet.
So it's only for the Flanders area, Riverside?
Riverside, you see the yellow and blue map there? You probably can find your property, that's the coverage area. And it is gonna be, well, it's gonna last longer
The
than others.
circle's in the top left.
And
The
we have
yellow is
procured.
phase 1 and the blue is phase 2.
And we have received a total of $35 million in grants to pay for the entire installation and first year of maintenance. But moving forward, it is going to be, we estimate about $224 a year.
That
is-
covers the maintenance too?
No, moving forward, like the fee and maintenance.
It'll be a usage-based fee.
Only the people that are connecting to the sewer will have to pay.
So if I have cesspools now,
You have to connect if you're on the line.
am I gonna have to connect to this system? And then I'll be taxed for that?
You will if you're in that area, in that district that's outlined in the yellow and
Your
blue.
tax assessment shouldn't go up. I mean, it's the same system, so the value of your property and home or property is going to be the same.
It's a lot, so.
Yeah, the
plan.
connection fee would be covered, it would be all paid for. The only thing that you would have to pay is the annual usage bill, which is based on your usage, and we're estimating about $225 a year to the average user.
And we're also researching programs akin to the STAR rebate to provide financial assistance for, folks that may have trouble paying.
All right, thank
May
you.
or may-
Did you receive this notice? Would you like one?
Because it
I
does
have
have
one,
a,
but the problem is I can't, it's so small, no
Okay.
matter how much I enlarge it,
All right.
I still
Yeah.
can't see where my lot is. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you for
nice-
coming.
If he needs help to find his lot, we can show us,
If he got the notice, he's.
There's a
on
link.
the-
she'll tell him, good, okay. All right, I'd like move to close the public
Let's go on there.
What? Oh, once again. Kevin, is there anybody on Zoom that wishes to speak in the public portion? Hi, welcome.
How are you?
Nice to be here this evening. My name is Meredith Berkowitz, and I am the secretary and a director of the Bridgehampton Civic Association. I'm very happy to be here tonight. I would like to just bring up something I had previously mentioned at a prior meeting that I'd like to see become much more of a reality. Recently, as a civic association, we were able to work with Ed Wisnowski and the Landmarks Board to help make the Main Street Historic District in Bridgehampton a reality. And as I'm sure many of you know, it's not just our historic buildings that are under fire, but our agricultural parcels as well. I'm not sure if any of you had seen the letter to the editor in the Southampton Press a few months ago from Marilee Foster, but she proposed imposing a moratorium on the development of all agricultural parcels that have changed hands in the last 10 years so that we could have a chance as a town to take an assessment of how these agricultural properties are being used and whether they are operating in compliance with the town code and any easements or other covenants running with the properties. I would like to sort of ask you to understand how can we make this, her proposal, a reality and help bring it to fruition, much like we did with the historic district. Can we, as a civic association, co-sponsor or partner with one of the council members to come to, somehow bring this into becoming a reality and being able to help protect and assess these reserves that may or may not be being used as they are supposed to be for commercial agricultural production? So it's sort of a question.
Yeah.
That wasn't there. Like, I'm not sure how,
Public
we weren't
input.
sure as a civic association how it works.
Public
and-
comment.
Yeah, I'm sure I don't know the answer offhand.
We have to look into it.
Yeah, that's something we'd have to ask our.
I mean, I can
town
tell you
attorneys.
as the liaison to the Ag Advisory Committee and having worked with Marilee, we do look at those properties. We do, look at the ag reserves. They do get brought to the Ag Advisory Committee for review, and they make a determination on whether or not what's happening there is in violation of the restrictions on the property. So they do get looked at. I know Dave Wilcox is good at looking at those properties, and I think aside from a moratorium, I think maybe a deeper dive into just taking a look at all of those properties would be warranted, being that they do have covenants and restrictions on them. And I mean, I'd be happy to broach that subject with the Ag Advisory Committee.
I think that would be great, and if there's anything we can do as a civic association, at least for the reserves that are in Bridgehampton, if it means, helping out with just even creating a spreadsheet or anything like that that helps identify the reserves, we'd be happy to assist. We would just like to, we thought her proposal was fabulous, and we would really love to support it and help it see, fruition.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big undertaking and a difficult task because each one of those covenants and restrictions on each one of those properties is worded differently, and it has different, meets and bounds, and so it's a huge undertaking, but I'm sure there are some that would be quote-unquote glaringly obvious to, residents that have concerns, and if there are ag reserves that you have concerns about that you don't feel are being, as the civic, you're more than welcome to bring that to us and say, listen, there's an ag reserve here, here, and here, and we can look at those and say, either yes, it is, operating under the restrictions placed on it, because they are all different. So something you might think is not able to happen there could be allowable under what at the time was given the restrictions.
Yeah, I think our thought was more to try and, work with, I don't know, it was really her proposal, so I think she's probably someone to sit down with and speak to further about it, but we were just very supportive of it, and if there was anything that we could do, in terms of harnessing our manpower to assist with that, to help see that through, that's all I want.
Yeah, I'm happy to have a conversation with you outside of this meeting, and we can
Sounds
discuss
good.
it.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak to the board, make a public comment in the audience? No? All right. Well, then I move to close the public portion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's proceed with the resolutions.
Town Board Resolution 2024-249, authorization for the supervisor to sign application and contract to accept 2024 New York State Office of Children and Family Services funding for Southampton Town youth activities.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution ID 250 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell, authorize conducting stop day events using Town of Southold contract with MXI Environmental Services LLC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, just texting. Oh, sorry, Bill, go ahead and do yours before you do that.
Town Board Resolution 2024-251. Authorize the purchase of a stump grinder from Venmore North Atlantic used by Sourcewell contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-252. Authorize purchase of wood chipper from Venmore North Atlantic using Sourcewell contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-253, authorize purchases and installation fencing with Residential Fences Corp. Using Suffolk County contract and Eastern Suffolk BOCES contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-254, authorize purchases of welding, fabrication, and repairs using Suffolk County contract with Retrofit, Inc.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-255, co-sponsored by Councilman Schiavone, to authorize the supervisor to execute agreements with Sun 20 TV vendors for production assistance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 256 of 2024, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Source Pass Contemporary LLC to provide immediate assistance on a bank hours basis to resolve town's network connectivity issues.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 257 of 2024, authorize the supervisor to sign an application and contract with Suffolk County for 2024 Town of Southampton Youth Bureau programming.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who was the second?
Bill can take it. Bill?
Town Board Resolution 2024-258. Authorize the purchase a 2023 Ford F600 with a landscape body from NYS OGS contract with Otis Ford for vehicles Class 1-8 statewide.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-259, to authorize the purchase of Motorola radios from Integrated Wireless Technologies LLC using the Sourcewell contract with Motorola Solutions, Inc.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2024-260. Authorize purchase of guardrails and furnish to install from H&L Contractor LLC and United Fence Guardrail Corp. using Suffolk County contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 261 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, authorize the supervisor to execute a consulting contract with H2M Architects, Engineers, Land Surveying et al. To provide on-call engineering services to the Hampton Bays Water District.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 262 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with H2M Architects and Engineers to provide geographic information systems, lead and copper support services to the Hampton Bays Water District.
Same. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-263, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract amendment with Rayner Group, PE and LS, PLLC, for land surveying, mapping, and engineering services to be provided for Old Farm Road improvements in Bridgehampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board sorry.
Town Board Resolution 265 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, authorize.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, that is it.
Yeah, that was me. Town Board Resolution 264, 2024, authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement with Suffolk County Community College for use of the Eastern Campus Pool for 2024 spring lifeguard training.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 265 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, authorize the supervisor to execute a licensing agreement between the town and Declan L. Blackmore, Edward F. Corrigan, and Harold G. Studi as stewards to farm agricultural lands identified by the tax map as indicated of approximately 21.9 acres of land.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 266 of 2024, authorize the supervisor to execute any and all documents relating to agreements with New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for information technology, cybersecurity, assessment services. Salute.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 267 of 2024, to award and authorize the supervisor to sign contracts for printing of decals, posters, tickets, and pads with dynamic printing, concept print, and rainbow printing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 268 of 2024, award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Integrity Tree Care, Inc. as primary vendor and Jackson Dodds and Company, Inc. as secondary vendor for maintenance on trails in Southampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 269 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Powell and Supervisor Moore. Recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2023-215 to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all agreements for award of Community Preservation Fund, CPF, 20%, Water Quality Improvement Project Funds, aquatic restoration, and non-point source abatement and control projects.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2024-27, recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2023-1216 to authorize supervisor to sign an all agreement to award a Community Preservation Fund for CPF Fund and 20% Quality Water Improvement Fund for water treatment. This is co-sponsored by Scavone and Moore with me.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 271 of 2024, recall and amend Town Board Resolution number 2024-86, authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement, Municipal Valuation Services, Inc., FKA, Michael Haberman Associates, Inc., for small claim valuation processing services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're just picking right over whoever.
Cindy.
Yeah. It's okay.
Did we vote?
Hmm?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 272 of 2024, a renewal of Zendesk for IT technical support ticketing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2024-273, reject all bids for 30 Club Lane Maintenance Garage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 274 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli, 2024 notice to bidders for Hot Dog Beach sanitary system improvements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 275 of 2024 to amend the 2023 budget for various departments. These are just budget neutral interdepartmental transfers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 276, we're on page 39, 276 of 2024, authorized budget modification to the Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG, for fiscal years 2020, 2021, and 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 277 of 2024, noting the North Sea CAC membership, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 270.
Say it loud and
It
proud.
happens. It happens, everyone.
Town Board Resolution 278 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell. Resolution of adoption amending Chapter 123-14 entitled Stop Work Orders to Enhance Enforcement Ability.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 279 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell. Resolution of adoption amending of Chapter 229-8 entitled Stop Order of the Code of the Town of Southampton to enhance enforcement capability.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 280 of 2024 authorizes the supervisor to submit a grant application to the Household Hazardous Waste State Assistance Program.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 281 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, cost reimbursement waiver for the Remsenburg-Spionk Union Free School District Annual Memorial Day Parade on May 23rd, 24 from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Second.
Are you
All in-
going?
I might.
All in favor?
Are you going?
Aye.
Maybe.
Aye.
It's the longest parade in Southampton town. It's wonderful though.
Town Board Resolution 282 of 2024, designating April 30th as Adopt a Pet Day in the town of Southampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 283 of 2024, memorializing resolution in support of Assembly Bill A 7371 and Senate Bill S 6899 as it relates to the state and local clean energy partnership aimed at codifying community choice aggregation programs in New York State Public Service Law.
Second.
All in favor?
On the motion? Sorry.
On the motion.
I understand the thought behind this. I just wished that they had taken a different tact, because when I read the bills, they seem to be geared towards green energy, which is great. But I do wish they had built more consumer protection into these bills, possibly even stating that the default, because it is an opt-out program, I would suggest that they think about making the default the cheapest rate and allow people to opt into the higher rates for the renewable energy. And those are just some things that I would have liked to have seen in this bill, and I will be sending a letter to that effect. So for that reason, I won't be supporting this.
Okay,
Thank
For
you.
that, I'm a no. You're a no.
so it's 4-1 on CCA.
Town Board Resolution 284 of 2024, to accept the resignation of Allison Cerullo, Public Safety Dispatcher in Police Communications.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 285 of 2024, to appoint Diane File to Senior Office Assistant Spanish Speaking in Town Clerk's Office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Diane. Town Board Resolution 286 of 2024, to appoint Eva Farmer to Office Assistant in Land Management Building Division.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome, Eva. Town Board Resolution 287 of 2024, to appoint Jorge Garcia to Ordinance Inspector, Spanish Speaking in Public Safety.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome, Jorge. Town Board Resolution 288 of 2024, co-sponsored by,
Well,
Can you add my name to it too? Because I wasn't here when you did that. I'd like to add my name to that too, please.
so co-sponsored by the entire board, to appoint Juan Becerra to Town Personnel Officer in Human Resources.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations,
Yes,
Juan.
he'll do a very good
Congratulations,
job.
Mm-hmm.
Town Board Resolution 289 of 2024, authorize attendance at Colt Armorer's Course.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 290 of 2024, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, authorizing attendance at the New York State YMCA Youth and Government Conference in Albany on March 22nd to the 24th, 2024.
Second, and on the motion, the Southampton Town Youth Bureau has been participating in this program now for 6 years. It's one of the finest programs I've ever seen in 32 years of education and 6 years doing this. And we have 12 students who are going to be going up to New York, who are going to be presenting bills on the floor of the Assembly and the Senate and debating other bills for the weekend that's stated here.
It is
Awesome course.
It is great, and I also spoke with Tracy. We want to also try to find ways we could bring local students as well here into town government to watch how operations and government policy making work here on the local level as well. But this is certainly a great program that I'm very happy to support as well.
This one's neat. It's about 750 kids from all over the state they descend on the Capitol, and they work together. And
It's great.
I'm happy that the town's supporting it.
Such a great experience
Oh,
for the
yeah.
kids.
It's transformative.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, just in time. Town Board Resolution 291 of 2024, co-sponsored by Councilman Schiavone, to notice a public hearing to amend the Town Code, Chapter 312-62, parking by permit at Wildwood Lake Park.
Second?
On the motion, I did still have questions on this that I raised at the work session review of the agenda, and I don't think any changes were made. I'm not sure if Jim spoke with you, but it's not clear to me if these are just the parking spaces that are owned by the town, or if it's the entire parking lot.
Right.
If it's just the ones owned by the town, that's a small number, I think maybe 7. And if it's the entire parking lot, since we have a cross-use easement with the church, do we need some, plan of
MOA.
getting, something with the church? And
So-
what about consideration to having it, every day instead of weekends and holidays?
Sure, we could certainly address most of those things. The first issue, when I spoke with Jim, because this is a parks property, Kristen Doulos has the ability to regulate parking. According to, there's a provision in the town code that allows her to post signage. That is how he proposed we could address the church spots versus the regulated spots. We could just go and sign them accordingly. We could put that in this legislation if you'd prefer. And if we'd like to expand the time, I would suggest.
Wait, I'm not
notice.
sure I understand. So when the church bought the property, it came with a certain amount of parking spaces, but you're saying we can just post that no one can park there without a permit?
So we could box out their spots.
Their spots are currently boxed out with construction fence.
Okay. So we could regulate the area that's not specifically reserved for them, or we could legislate specifically and include their spots in the legislation.
And Sean, I think part of the question is the cross-access agreement with the church's parking. They agreed to allow some of our bathers to park in their spots. I mean, it's really tight. It's essentially functions as one parking lot, and that's what it's traditionally
So
been.
you don't need an MOA for that?
We had talked about options. We could allow them permits for that location only. We could allow them to display dash plaques issued by the church. There were a number of ways we could enforce over there and allow the churchgoers to park.
I had a conversation on this, so I had a long meeting with Kristen Doulos on other parks things the other day. And so this came up and we were discussing it because obviously it needs to be addressed before the start of the season. It is a trustee beach. And Kristen had brought up the point of maybe having trustee permits for those locations, because it would then further limit, it wouldn't be a town-wide permit, you'd have to be a resident to get that, like a resident trustee permit
Trustee.
only there, so that it would limit the number of people, and it would also, be for just those spots.
We discussed that as well as a possibility.
And we had a meeting with the chief, with one of the trustees, as well as the supervisor, and that was one of the ideas that came out of that meeting. And we're going to bring that back to the trustees to see
Yeah.
if there was appetite to do that, because the point of access in the water is actually a trustee property.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
so.
the trustees don't own the parking lot, that's the truth.
No, but you own the whole beach.
The beach.
Don't you think we
Maybe
should
do
work
an
this
MOA
out at a
together.
work session
Yeah.
before we put it on for a public
I think
hearing?
we should.
Sure, we certainly could always adjourn this or withdraw this and take another stab at it. The pilot program will expire, so we just need that to be
When
done.
does that, I might be in here.
It will be before the adoption of this
May
one.
15th.
I mean, I think we
I
could get
think.
this done in April.
We can probably get this done quickly. When I had spoken to Jim, he said to move ahead with it just because of that looming expiration date. But we certainly could revisit this and, take another stab at it.
Because I think a lot of people are gonna come for this public hearing thinking this is all we're doing, and
Yeah.
I would like to have a better plan in place for the whole property.
Yeah.
I'm happy to withdraw and put it on the work
Sure.
session.
We could
Yeah.
certainly do that. We just need a second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. It just,
Withdraw.
if it's not clear to us, it's not gonna be clear to everybody else.
You just withdrew that.
Yeah, you just withdraw.
Withdrew.
Drew,
Okay. Withdrawn.
was it you?
Yeah.
who
Okay.
withdrew?
We had a motion and second for the original opening of the resolution. So then you put forward another Who was the mover and who was the second?
He's mover, I was the seconder.
I said aye.
Okay, just trying to bounce
Okay,
ball.
so both sponsors have agreed to withdraw it, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, let's just, so,
Okay, town,
what spots does it apply to?
Mhm.
That's really my question.
And when you have the trustee meeting next week, you can bring this up about doing a joint thing.
Town Board Resolution 292 of 2024, authorize the acquisition of 4 Red Creek Road in the hamlet of Hampton Bays and amend the CPF project plan and CPF management plan and stewardship plan to indicate the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bill, do you want to be added to that?
Yes. Please, can you get me that?
He wasn't here.
That was it here.
We didn't want to add you in your absence.
That's what I heard.
That's
what I heard.
That's what he heard.
I heard that I was neglected by you.
Not neglected, respected.
Respected, yes. I
Yes.
take it back. You like to hear my voice.
We can discuss this rather later.
Let's go. I would like to move to amend Town Board Resolution 293-2024 to change the first word from consider to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So Town Board Resolution 293-2024, co-sponsored by Councilman Scavone, Councilman Iacilli, to, as amended, to authorize acceptance, donation of an undivided joint ownership interest of the Governor John Adams Dix Windmill from the Village of West Hampton Beach, and amend the CPF stewardship and management plan to include the structure for purposes of historic restoration and preservation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 294 of 2024, road review application for Karen M. Sojin, that the tax map as indicated Situate and Hampton Bays is accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now the 4 walk-ons. Town Board Resolution ID number 45430 to authorize an amendment to the intermunicipal agreement between the Town of Southampton and the Village of West Hampton Beach regarding the Governor John Adams Dix Windmill.
Second, and I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor, Madam Clerk.
I would like to be added too, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution ID number 45724 to authorize the town attorney to retain outside counsel Sokolov Stern LLP to represent the interests of the town as it relates to a litigation matter entitled Wexler et al. Versus the Town of Southampton et al.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution ID number 45725, warrant number 4, capital number 4, CPF number 4, February 27th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You.
Yeah, authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement amendment with Pin High Golf Management LLC for the operation and maintenance of Poxabaw Golf Course.
Second.
Say the ID.
Oh, I'm sorry, resolution ID number 45730. Thank you, council. There was a second, right?
I
John
second
and
it.
Joan.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, I think that's it then. I move to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.